Hello everyone and welcome to the TigerPaw Software Business Building Webinar Series. This is a live webinar series that focuses on sharing industry best practices, helpful business tips, and valuable partner training for VARs, MSPs, and technology service providers. My name is James Kernan. I'll be your host for today's call. The presenter today is Mark Winter of Rapid Fire Tools. Today's session is called Leveraging Network Assessments to Close More Managed Service Business. So all the tech firms out there, the basic goal is to grow your contractual monthly recurring revenue. Today we're going to go through one of the best ways to do that. So as a former sales and marketing business coach for MSPs worldwide in my former life, I'm especially excited about today's session. Not only do I believe Rapid Fire Tools is the best network assessment tool in the marketplace, but it's also one of the best marketing campaigns as well. It's a great way to get your foot in the door with a new prospect. Furthermore, if you're using TigerPaw as your PSA business automation platform, you can automate this marketing campaign. You can see who received, opened, clicked on the links with all the email analytics. And then you gather that data, and with the integration with Rapid Fire and TigerPaw, Mark's going to go through that in just a moment. You've got all the information at your fingertips to do onboarding and your quarterly business reviews much more easily. So overall, we anticipate today's session to last for about 40 minutes, and then we're going to open it up for questions at the end. So please keep your questions at the end. We'll give you instructions for Q&A at the end. As a reminder, all the sessions will be recorded, and those of you who registered will get a follow-up email with a copy of the recording. Now let's get started with today's session. Let me hand the floor back over to Mark.
Hey, thanks so much, James. Appreciate that. What I'm going to cover today is, like James was saying, how to grow your business using IT assessments. I'm going to show you what that would look like using Network Detective as a means to really streamline that entire process. I'm going to show you what some of the reports look like. And this is just going to be a little bit about the reports because the reports, I mean, there's so much information. I want to give you a sample of what it looks like and some of the information that can help you close business. Then you'll hear a little bit more from James. I'll talk about licensing and pricing and special offer, and we'll get to Q&A. So before I get started, a little bit about our company. We were founded by Michael Mattel, a former MSP himself, and our focus really is on tools for the service provider community. That is our entire focus is, working on tools that can help you guys attending this, streamline your business, help you grow your business, do things better. And, we're really thrilled to partner with key vendors like TigerPaw. And we've got thousands of raving fans because network assessments really have become such an important part of the business. So I was attending a Robin Robbins event, and for those of you who are not familiar with Robin Robbins, she does marketing for MSPs, where it's more of a training and teaching and mentoring program for MSPs. And I was listening to one of her presentations, and she is also a big fan of using network assessments in your lead generation. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but she said, what's another name for IT assessment or IT audit? The answer, of course, is a sales call. So, I mean, think about that. It's really a brilliant idea because, talking about going in to do an IT audit or IT assessment for a customer, much better than talking about a sales call.
Right.
Yep. And all right. So, and when I talk to folks, and I'm actually at an Exchange event now, out here in downtown Los Angeles, and when I'm talking to MSPs, one of the things they tell me is that they're really looking to grow their business. Mm-hmm. And how do you do that? You're going to do that with lead generation, of course. And of course, you've got to have a good list, good messaging, but you also need a really powerful call to action, something that's going to get somebody to pick up the phone and call you or hit reply on that email and invite you to come in for that IT assessment or IT audit, aka sales call, right? Let me ask you, have you ever Googled your competition? If you haven't, you probably ought to do that. I think you can find that a lot of them offer discounted or free network audits, network assessments, whatever you want to call it, as a call to action in their email marketing, on their web pages, etc. And if you think about that, it's really almost too perfect. You're going to provide a very valuable service to a potential customer, which is going to be a third-party review of what their network looks like, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And of course, the reason you're there is you would like to, meet them, gather information about their IT infrastructure, and of course, provide them a proposal. And so, I mean, it's really almost too perfect because you're going to have to, get the information on the servers and the workstations and what's going on anyway in order to build that proposal. So here you are offering them something of value, which is something you would want to do anyway. Really almost too perfect. However, how long does it take to gather the information when you're on site if you don't have good tools, right? You've got to log into the domain controller. Take a look at the event logs, gather information out of Active Directory, number of users, computers, all that stuff. What do the security groups look like? And then you've got to pull information about file space. You've got to log into any network storage. You need to then, go out and see what other machines are on the network. So you're bothering the receptionist, you're bothering the people in marketing at that company. You're logging into their machines to take notes. Even if you've got point tools like Bellarc or other tools to gather information, it's still intrusive to that company. Or perhaps you're even installing agents to get that information. More about that later. And so in my opinion, the right tools, when you're going to do a prospect meeting, the right tools should allow you to be very professional. If you're using Network Detective, there's a data collector that's completely non-intrusive and non-invasive. It doesn't make any change at all to the network. Their IT guys that are currently doing their IT won't even know that you were there. Data collection ideally should be fast, right? And should kind of correspond to the amount of time that you set for the appointment, 60, 90 minutes, that kind of thing. If it's automated, that frees you up from gathering all this information so you can, spend more time on things that matter, building rapport, selling. And the whole idea, of course, is that you'll be able to come back to them, provide them some reports from you to this prospect that may identify issues on their network, talk about the good things, the bad things, but of course give you the ammunition to sell, and also it should tie nicely back to your proposals. Let me also say this, if you're doing a discounted or free network audit, don't give away the farm. Provide an executive summary and set those expectations that you're going to be providing a summary of the information and that you'll review it. But don't provide all the details that they can then take this detailed information, give it to their nephew or whoever's doing their IT and say, fix this, right? You want the information, you want the deal, right? And people do that, it's amazing. So a little bit about free or paid. Free by itself really doesn't have much value. And so I would say don't just say, hey, I'm going to in your marketing. Don't go out and say I'm going to do free assessments. Establish a value. Put some value on this thing. Make sure it's on your website too, because they are going to look you up. So you want to have as, something listed as that you do third-party audits, and maybe it's 5,000, 1,500, whatever your market would bear, however you want to do it. But in your marketing, provide some reason that you're going to discount this, right? Because you want to create some urgency and put a time frame on it, right? You want to be able to get this campaign done in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever it is. Another idea that people are doing is, actually sell it. So don't just do it free. Say, you know what, my $5,000 assessment I'm going to do for a limited time to the first 15 people who are going to respond to this offer, and I'll do it for $7.99. And by the way, if you bring me on, I'm going to give you all the details, refund that money, make it part of the package. So I think there's a lot of ways that you can put this kind of program together and be successful. Let me talk about a couple of other things too, though. If you're going out, especially whether you're using our tools or not, especially if you're using our tools, I think it makes a lot of sense to set the expectations for that initial meeting. I'm a big Sandler method guy for sales, and it's all about setting up front expectations. So when you are closing the call, go back, reiterate, summarize. I'm going to be there next Tuesday, 10:30 in the morning. By the way, we're a professional IT firm. We use tools to gather the information. If, by the way, you're a domain network and maybe you're able to find that out ahead of time, let them know that you're going to need administrative credentials. And if they push back and say they don't want to give them to you, say that's fine. Make sure you have them. You can type those into the tool. I don't need to know them. In fact, I don't want to know them. So overcome that obstacle immediately. But definitely let them know what you're going to need when you get there. Another thing, when you get out to some networks that are prospects, you're going to find that they're not properly set up for centralized management. And so tools like sometimes your RMMs when you're going out to deploy them, and tools like Network Detective require standard Microsoft protocols in order to be able to gather the information. Explain that. Say, by the way, sometimes I go to a site like yours and I find out that the network's really not configured for centralized management, and that can be a problem for professional IT tools that use standard Microsoft protocols to gather information. And if that's the case, I may need to do some local scans. It won't take long, but I may need to bother some of your people. I hope not to do that, but it's possible I will. And then think about what happens if you get out there and you find out that the entire network WMI is not available, for instance. You've set the expectation that if I come out and my tool doesn't work, your network's not set up correctly. So you've already then put that little thought in their head that hey, why is my network not set up right? Also let them know you're going to get additional information. You're going to sit down and talk with them, the CEO if it's not them, CFO because you want to know what's going on in their business and how IT does. And also let them know that you're going to have your calendar and you guys are going to set up a following meeting. Do not, under any circumstances, give feedback. Please, and some people have used our tool and found it's a horrible thing to do. Don't say you're going to run the reports right then. Man, using Network Detective makes this so easy for you. Automated data collection, automated report. You want to charge them $1,500 or $5,000? Don't let them know that the tool does everything. Come back next week. One, it gives you a chance to analyze them, but two, you can provide a lot of information, but don't let them think that this was easy for you to do. So a couple of ideas for your follow-up meeting as well. Let them know that you're coming back to review the findings. You're going to provide them with the executive summary, and that's what you get for this low cost or this free assessment. I'm also going to provide any recommendations and potential project work if I see any real problems, because you know what? These may be things you want to fix immediately. I also plan to provide you a proposal for my managed services, but of course you're under no obligation. Let me say one other thing. They haven't signed the deal. The ink isn't. It's not even on the paper yet. Don't fix anything at either of these meetings. Let them know that you're not there to do that. You're not their IT guy. You haven't signed a contract. There's potential liability if you do that stuff. Anyway, just my two thoughts, my 2 cents on setting those meetings. So another way to use IT assessments, also with Network Detective, is to craft winning proposals. I'm a firm believer in knowing what you're getting into before you start doing proposals. I think you need to know how many workstations, how many servers. What are the age of these things? What operating systems are they running? How much memory? Is the CPU up to date? Or is it an old i3 that a year down the road you're going to have to be replacing and putting new equipment out there? Look for security holes and vulnerabilities that you may have to put into your proposal and spread that out over the 24 or 36 months. Just to get this network in the manner that you want to maintain it, right? That includes Active Directory. What do the security groups look like? Is it too complex for the small network? Is it too simple for a much larger and more, a bigger environment? How much time are you going to have to spend? Is it going to be 4, 5, 6 hours redesigning Active Directory and putting the security groups in place, realigning the members? If they've got Exchange or SQL, you're going to want to know about that too. My opinion, that winning proposal, it's got to be well documented. You've got to have the backup that goes with it. That's where your IT assessment comes in. Of course, you want to make sure that the cost is reasonable. It's going to be profitable for you, but you can't do it too high. You're not going to win the deal. And by the way, if you do it too low, then you're potentially losing money or not making the profits that you're expecting. Not doing this, recipe for disaster. And hopefully most of you have true-up clauses in your contract, so if there is an issue when you onboard, you can renegotiate the contract. But let me tell you, somebody told me not long ago. They put together a proposal. They did not do a deep assessment. They saw there were two servers, I think it was, and however many workstations, doesn't matter. It was like an $1,800 MRR deal that they put in place and signed with the customer. They sent their engineers on site to get things started. They found out the servers were actually Hyper-V with, I think one of them had 4 servers on it. So they had to go back and renegotiate that contract because they didn't know what information. They didn't have the information to really properly propose it. So instead of it being an $1,800, they had to go to the true-up clause and come back and try and get 2,500, and I think they couldn't get that high. And so, one, what a horrible way to start a relationship. Two, they weren't really getting what they should because they had to discount in order to keep the customer happy. Anyway, I really think you've got to have the information to build those proposals. Use the information to close deals. If you've got a good-looking executive summary, make that part of your proposal. It should provide issues and, of course, recommendations for fixing those issues. And when you're discussing and sitting down at that second meeting with your customer, don't just say, here, this is a security risk, or, this is bad practices based on industry norms. Talk about the implications of these things. For instance, if there is an employee that apparently is no longer with the company and they've got active credentials to log in, don't just say that's a security risk. Say, by the way, did Joe leave on good terms? Because if not, if he found out he could log into this network, he could delete information, he could steal information. If he went with a competitor, and found out he could log in, you could get to those sales folders and know what your proposals are, and then, discount those or come in behind you, and that's lost revenue to you. So talk in business terms when you're talking to the CEO. And definitely have the detail of the assessments to back up your analysis. I mean, it really is going to show the professionalism, shows that you've done a lot of work, even if you haven't done so much work if you're using Network Detective, so it does it all for you. And really, it's going to set you apart from your competition. So this same assessment, you used it as a call to action, you performed it to build the information for your proposal, helps you close the deal. Now imagine when you've got great network documentation that provides that baseline of the customer, you can provide this information to your support team, and every one of your customers has, is documented in the same consistent fashion. So somebody knows exactly where to go to get a list of users in AD. They know exactly where to go to see the security groups. A list of computers, same thing. So, I mean, it's just so incredible. This one piece of work you did is so useful through the entire front end of bringing this customer on, from lead generation, closing, and now onboarding. Excuse me. And really document everything you can, right? All of the assets, the applications that are used, all the users in AD. That way you can deploy the monitoring that you're going to be using to all the systems discovered, and definitely get that information into TigerPaw, right? Configuration information, any issues that you want fixed, create tickets, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a few minutes. One of the other great uses of IT audits or IT assessments, and Network Detective fits this bill, is regular customer checkups. So if you've shown this person as you're onboarding them and selling them what the executive summary looks like, let them know that you run these audits on a regular basis, whether it's quarterly, semi-annually, or you might even do it monthly, because, by the way, our tools can be scripted and run very easily. Use it to make sure that there aren't machines getting put on the network that you're not aware of, right? You're supporting them. Maybe you're not charging for them. Maybe you don't even have your monitoring on them. Using tools that audit this are going to help you find those issues. Let them know that you're validating security issues on a regular basis. I mean, let them know that you're doing all this stuff. So you're going to get great reports out of TigerPaw. Combine that with the information that you get out of your IT assessment software like Network Detective. It makes for great quarterly reviews. And by the way, even if you're doing a terrific job with managed services, if you're not in front of them letting them know what you've done on a regular basis, man, out of sight is truly out of mind. The CFO is going to go talk to the CEO one day and saying, why are we paying $2,000 a month to this IT company? We hardly ever see them. There's no problems on our network. Why do we need them? And of course, they don't realize that there's no problems on the network because you guys are doing your job. So hopefully I've given you some ideas on how you can use IT assessments in your business. I think Network Detective is absolutely the best way to perform these IT assessments. And let me show you what that looks like. So Network Detective, it's fast and easy to run. The way this works, a data collector gets run on the target network. That could be a customer or a prospect. The tool, the data collector, our data collection tool, it's non-invasive, it's not intrusive, not an MSI, it's not installed, it doesn't leave anything behind. So think about in prospecting, you go in, you're not making a change to the network. You really don't want to tip off their existing IT company that you're doing this. Then you're going to bring the data file back and automatically create the reports. It's almost too easy. Now I get asked a lot, and they say, Mark, so I've got LabTech, or I've got GFI Max, I've got, whatever that monitoring system is. Why can't, how does your tool differ from that? So first off, and I've already kind of alluded to this, but Network Detective is so much superior for prospecting. Again, it's non-invasive, so you're not making a change to the network. Think about if you're using an agent-based system, say a LabTech, whatever it is, right? Somebody told me to show the other day, they actually had to buy additional licenses and then didn't get the customer. But think about that. So, it's the cost of having some extra licenses around. But think about the engineering time to actually put an engineer out to install agents on all of the servers and either all of the workstations or some of the workstations, however you normally do that. So one, there's the time involved in doing that. Two, you've now made a change to their network. You've touched their systems. You installed applications. Guess what's going to happen if Frank, the CFO, can no longer, get to one of his network drives, or, somebody can't print to a network printer? Little problems. Almost no way that installing an agent caused it. But these things happen. You were the last one there. They're going to call you up and say, you know what? You guys were just out here. You installed some software, and my guys now can't get to things on the network. They're going to ask you to come back and fix it, probably for free, and it might ruin your ability to get that sale. On the flip side, like I said, Network Detective, the data collector, non-invasive, takes about an hour to run on most small to medium-sized business networks. The other thing is that Network Detective is very complementary to your monitoring system. So once they're a customer and you install your agents, sure, we both collect asset information. I get that. However, your monitoring systems, they don't do things like external vulnerability scans, testing the firewalls for potentially exploitable ports and protocols. They don't do internal scans of the entire network, potentially finding machines that don't have your RMM on it. They don't look for other security holes. They don't pull information and document issues and problems out of Active Directory. They don't do things like reverse DNS lookup to see if there's maybe some issues with DNS on the network. Network Detective will do all of that for you. The reports really look terrific. They're going to make you look good, and they're very complementary to what you get out of TigerPaw and whatever your monitoring system is. So let's take a look how this works. Just a few quick steps. If you're using our security modules, you'll want to scan their firewall. You'll then go on-site, perform the network data collection. Potentially, you'll do some local collections as well. And then you go back to your office, import the data, and brand the reports. Okay, that's the high level. Let's see the details. So from our Network Detective tool, you initiate an external vulnerability scan. Just input the IP addresses that you want scanned. Now you're on-site with the customer. The tool is wizard-driven. This is what the data collector looks like. Select that you want the network or the network and security. They can happen at the same time. You provide domain admin credentials. We'll test the local domains. You'll input the domain of the customer so we can do a whois and MX record lookup. Validate the IP range. We'll actually pull this from the NIC card. So, you can generally, it's just next, next, next. But if you do have a customer or prospect that has, remote locations, you can input the other subnets here, the other IP ranges, so we can scan those remotely. We use SNMP to gather information from non-Active Directory machines. We use Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer for some additional gathering. We'll validate whether content filtering is on. At this point, you verify the settings and let the data collector run. Like I said, a single subnet with, 40, 60, 100 machines takes about 45 minutes to an hour to run. So it's pretty fast, and it'll finish up when you do, when your sales call is done. Once the collection's done, you're going to take that information, it's an encrypted zip file, bring that back to your office. You don't want to do it on site. Here you're going to run the Network Detective application where you can input and customize information. So you'll put in the customer's name in the report prepared for field. Report prepared by, of course, is yourself. You can change the cover page disclaimers. And, of course, save your defaults. Input your logo to go on the cover page and the header of every machine. We've got a number of different layouts to choose from, and you can change you can select any of our color palettes or kind of roll your own. We've got different images that you can use. We've already paid the royalties for these, so think automotive, hospitality, legal, retail, banking, finance, those kinds of things. So they're already built, or you can also roll your own. At this point, you click Generate the Reports. That takes the amount of time that takes doesn't really matter, right, because it's doing the work. But, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, very large networks can take longer to generate the reports, and they really look great. So your logo, yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, I was going to say the presentation of this data is fantastic, and one of the other highlights about this report is the overwhelming majority of the time you're bringing back data that their current IT staff or the ownership group, they had no idea. This is so extensive. It's very powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
this is just a quick quick thing of how it looks. But again, your logo on the header of every page, your logo on the cover page, different layouts, they really look terrific. All right, let me talk a little bit about how you can take the information from these reports James was just mentioning and turn this into revenue. A couple of ways: winning new business, onboarding clients, and add value with existing customers. So first off, winning new business. Talked about this a good bit already. So let's look at some of the reports that can kind of show you or help you demonstrate whether the current IT provider is really delivering on what they should be and what may be risks that customer has. So not providing great service. Look for things like inconsistent quality in the way the network's being managed, or simple issues being overlooked. And there's a lot of different reports here, but I'll show you a couple of them. So out of the full detail report, this is a list of users out of Active Directory. And what we do is we differentiate between users that are active and inactive based on whether their credentials have been logged in the past 30 days. And you'll see throughout our reports, which, by the way, we've got sample reports on our website. Don't go there right now. You'll see that we highlight in red potential issues. And what I've got circled here is Bill Miner. He's not logged in the past 30 days based on when this scan was run, but his account is active. It's enabled. And that is absolutely a security risk. He's probably an ex-employee that could have access to the network. Security groups. So Network Detective is going to pull information from Active Directory for each security group and will also list the members. One of the things to look for in prospecting is everybody a member of the admin or domain admin, right? People get lazy and they do that sort of thing, and that leaves people who shouldn't have access to data. They've got access to everything on the network, and they're far more susceptible to viruses and malware and things like that. And by the way, this is something you should check. Let me go back that slide. This is something you should audit yourself on a regular basis, right, quarterly, and let your customers know that you're doing it. Because what happens, Mary in marketing, I like that alliteration, Mary in marketing, needs to install some new, the latest Adobe or whatever it might be. And so what do? We make her admin for a day, right? And we forget to take her out. If you run these reports and audit yourself, these are the things you can find. Okay, back to this. So here we are looking at another section of the report. These are systems that are missing critical patches. Man, it is so wonderful to see red when you're prospecting. Seeing red on your existing customers is not such a good thing. All right, so what unnecessary risks might a potential prospect have? So first thing, identify machines that are out of date as far as their antivirus and anti-spyware, or machines that are missing protection completely, right? Prescription for failure. Or here's some sample reports on the external vulnerability scan in our security module. And so, we highlight charts, graphs, and detailed information, the potential exploitable vulnerabilities on the firewall, right? Don't let this be your clients. Okay, great information out of Network Detective to help you close the deal. I already showed you part of the executive summary. I want to go a little further into this for you. We provide a risk score, low, medium, high risk with a risk score there. Next page, we go into the actual issues that led to that risk score. We also provide an overall issue score. And I know you probably can't read this, but go to our website, take a look at the executive summary in the network module. It's actually called the Client Risk Report. Man, this is so cool. It provides you in plain language that you can talk to your prospects about the issues, and the tool automatically builds in recommendations. And these are Word documents. So if you'd like to key in additional information as part of that recommendation for your best practices, it's ready to go an extra minute and you've customized this. The rest of this document is charts and graphs. Makes it look like you spent a ton of time building this for your prospect. And on the right-hand side, there's computers by operating system. So those are going to tie back to your proposal for onboarding them. And then here we've got additional information on drive space usage. There's a lot in the reports. They look great. We also provide the same information if you'd like to discuss this or present this to a larger company in PowerPoint, and it's ready for you ready to go. When you're onboarding, like I said, the consistent documentation, it's great to have. You know what you can train your level, your help desk staff, level 1, level 2 folks. Everybody knows exactly where to go to get the information. And what's really cool, folks, is we export this information directly into TigerPaw for you. So you do a scan, and we can create the asset information in TigerPaw so that you've got a centralized place with that information ready to go. Also, any of those issues that were found, you can selectively decide if you want to populate those as tickets into TigerPaw. We can create, either one ticket with multiple items or individual tickets for each item so that as your staff are working these problems, 1, you're making sure that they get done. 2, you're tracking that time and logging that time against it so you can provide those reports later. Finally, if you've got our Exchange module, we can automatically create the contacts inside TigerPaw for you so that, it eliminates that error-prone and time-consuming task of, typing in first name, last name, phone number, email address. So whenever information is in Exchange that's relevant, we can populate that directly into TigerPaw for you. Save you a ton of time, far more accurate. We also provide all that detailed information in Excel spreadsheets so you can filter, search, sort, do what you need. And of course, use the reports regularly to add value with your current customers. I've already talked about this a lot. Create collateral for your account reviews, share your best practices, update contracts if you need to true things up over time as things get added to the network that you might not have known about. And we produce a couple of change reports, and this is just a sample of the quarterly business review that's automated for you. So if you assign a baseline when you run these reports, we'll automatically do the change reporting for you. So just to quickly summarize, Network Detective, it's fast, non-invasive, gives you a consistent approach to gathering the information every time from every network, customers, and prospects. The reports are automatically generated for you, fully customizable with your branding, so it looks like it's coming from you to your customers. It's going to help you identify issues to close business. We'll automatically connect with TigerPaw to get you set up faster and in your onboarding. I didn't really talk about this very much, but our security module and even our inspector, you can use that to deliver managed security services for additional recurring revenues and increase customer loyalty. There are Exchange projects and migrations you can do using our tool to provide that information so that you can scope these projects, get them priced right to sell them, and be profitable at the same time. We also have HIPAA and PCI compliance that you can use. So there's an awful lot going on with Network Detective, and I've only just barely touched on it. Hey, James, let me turn this over to you now to say a few words.
Great, thank you. So big picture, I wanted just to take a moment and talk a little bit about TigerPaw and where we fit into the equation. Bottom line, TigerPaw is everything that your business needs to run, from marketing, sales, purchasing, inventory, contracts, field service, and dispatch, accounting, and to me, most importantly, the reporting. Everything is bundled into one platform. And just from a big picture standpoint, I'm going to highlight 3 quick things that I think are huge differentiators from our tool. There's lots of great ticket management tools out there, but bottom line, if you want to grow your business and market your business, TigerPaw is the best sales and marketing PSA platform out there. And the key differentiators really are, number 1, the automated workflows and central billing. So the workflows, we're all trying to leverage our tools, just like Mark did a great job of explaining how a tool like RapidFire can do so many things for you and take hundreds of man-hours out of gathering all that data manually. You can do it in minutes, and TigerPaw does the same thing with your workflows. From marketing and sales and purchase orders and inventory management, contracts, and then the central billing and even the credit card billing. When you're billing these clients every single month, you can automate that. That's very powerful. I'd already hinted at the sales and marketing piece and how powerful that is, but you can run these campaigns directly out of TigerPaw. You don't have to have a third-party tool like most people do. And then you've got all the email analytics, and the data is already in there. You don't have to keep retyping the information when you create it into a purchase order or a sales order or a service order, to dispatch somebody out. It's all in there. And then lastly, the most important thing is the reporting and the dashboards. I've been in the industry for over 25 years, and for 8 years I was a business coach. And this is really where most businesses fall short. Now, I've always said it's our responsibility to have the right tools for our employees to do their job. We have high expectations, we have high goals, we all want to grow the business, right? But it's our responsibility to have the right tools, and the reporting and the dashboards are phenomenal in TigerPaw. Everybody has access to the information at their fingertips. Next slide. So there's 3 simple ways to work with TigerPaw. Our model is very simple. We have a SaaS subscription model where it's all in. We're not going to nickel and dime you. All 3 core products and all 5 options, including the mobile product, is all bundled into one TigerPaw One. That product starts at $89 per named user. We have a subscription model, and then the purchase model. You can purchase that as well, and then or lease. If you want to purchase the product with low monthly payments, you can do a lease option as well. So 3 simple ways to work with TigerPaw. Next slide. And then if you're struggling with your tools today and you want a platform to help take the business up to the next level, my special offer is, there's a lot of people on the horn, so these are going to go quick, but I'll say the first 10 that email me right now at sales@tigerpaw.com, I'm going to do 2 things for you, actually 3. I'm going to set up a custom demo for you based on the needs of your business, and we're going to do a one-on-one demonstration of how TigerPaw can help make you more money or save you more money. Number 2, we're going to offer a free standard implementation. It's a $1,000 value. And then we'll eliminate the upfront licensing fees on any of our subscription products. Okay? That is a $1,500 value as well. And then lastly, any new client that comes on board, you get 2 free conference tickets to our worldwide conference that's held in the Midwest every year. That's in October. That's a $675 value as well. So we're giving away the farm because we're so excited about the partnership with RapidFire and our other valued partners and getting you on the TigerPaw platform to help take your business up to the next level. So thanks, Mark.
Thanks, James. And I got to say, we were a very proud sponsor of your user conference, and what a fantastic event that was. So, The fact that you're throwing in 2 free conference tickets, educational but fun, it was amazing.
Yeah,
Looking forward to this year.
You bet.
All right, so that was a terrific offer you made. Let's see what I can do. So let me just kind of set the stage. Network Detective, we've grown this over time based on feedback from our customers, which is what software companies should do. So we started off with the network module and then added the security module, expanded that with Exchange, SQL Server, and then 2 compliance modules, HIPAA and PCI. And we have a deep dive appliance that gets even deeper into security for you. I really focused this presentation on the network and security modules, but the first 4 are our IT modules. And what you're going to see is that every one of these modules, and this is designed, by the way, so you can pick and choose and buy just what you want. Each module has its own set of reports. The risk report is the executive summary. There's one of those in every module. And then you get the following, the basic detail for each one of these. So here's what's in the security module, the exchange module. If I can move these slides properly. So here's information in the Exchange module. This is terrific information. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this. You get information as docx out of the tool so that you can edit it. And also, most of the modules and some of the reports have companion Excel files. And that's certainly true for Exchange, because if you've got large mailboxes, looking at that mailbox detail report in docx, while it's pretty, well, really it's not that pretty. It's a lot of information. The ability to have that where you can filter and just sort and find the people who have settings the way they want that you want changed or want to focus on, it's amazing for you. SQL Assessment Module. This helps you do routine health checkups for your customers, and then can turn into projects to, bring on a DBA, even 1099 if you need to do that, to get, make sure that SQL's tuned and running. So, what does all this cost? Network Detective, a single module, if you went to our website today, is just $99 a month for the annual subscription. So it is an annual subscription, 12 payments, but you could buy the Network Assessment module from the website, just $100 a month. It gives you unlimited use. So that means you can use it for any of your customers, all of your customers, any of your prospects. You want to run this quarterly for 40 customers? No problem. We want you to do that. Do you want to, prospect twice a month? Weekly, however often you want to use it. The more you use it, the more value you're going to see, and the happier we're all going to be. But I do have some special webinar pricing for you. So you got a couple of weeks to act on this. I believe expiring on the 18th of the month. If you're buying just one module, let's say the network module, you'll save $10 a month. That's a $120 a year savings. Buy two modules together. So let's say you wanted to bundle network and security together. And by the way, that is our most popular bundle. Nearly, I think it's over 80% or so buy network and security together. You'll save $20 a module. Compared to list price, that's a savings of $480 a year. If you wanted 3 modules or 4 modules, you could see the pricing there. The savings gets even better. And by the way, all of our tools, all of our subscriptions have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you wanted to try the network and security modules for $79 a month each, sign up from that URL at the top of the screen there. It's rapidfiretools.com/1603 B as in boy 18TP. Like I say, take advantage of the special, try it out, see what it's like. But for the first 20 orders, and we do, like James says, we've got a lot of folks on here, and also expiring midnight, I think that's Friday, March 11th, you can save even more. On a single individual module, $79 a month for your first year. It's a $240 savings off list price. Buy network and security together, just $69 a month. Over $700 savings. Save even more at 3 modules, $59 a month, or $55 a month if you buy all 4 each. It's like getting 1 or 2 modules free. It's a great, great deal.
Yeah.
So that pricing and special deals available at rapidfiretools.com/1603 B18TP. And James, at this point, why don't we take some Q&A? I think we got the timing just about right.
All right, perfect. And so anybody that has questions, if you would, just go ahead and there's so many people on the webinar, we're not able to unmute you, but what you can do in your GoToWebinar, actually the control box, just type in your question in the chat box or the message box, and either Mark or I are happy to field any questions that you may have for either of us.
Oops, I muted myself. Absolutely. So, James, maybe you can talk to this one. How do you overcome influential technical people resisting any change in order to protect their jobs? You want to take a stab at that?
Sure. Yeah, that actually happens quite frequently. To me, that's a red flag. Most technical people want to protect their domain, and they get defensive on purpose, normally because they're hiding something. And what I would recommend is try to identify everybody up front and speak to them. The technical person, you want to work with them. This is we're a complimentary service to you. We're going to help you look good. We're going to bring a lot of resources to the table to help you. But if you're having a one-on-one conversation with the CEO, these are things, you want a tool that you can go in, or a service provider to be able to go in and validate their configuration is awesome and that their current IT team are doing things right. So there's 2 very different agendas there. And again, to be specific, I would try to align yourself as a resource to be complementary and helpful for the existing IT person, because sometimes those are the ones who are your primary point of contact, right? And you're going to provide this data to them to help make them look good, but the reality is this data really needs to get to the CFO or the CEO, the chief executive or the owner, and they're going to see things very differently. You have anything else to add to that, Mark?
No, I think that makes perfect sense. So somebody asked for me to go back a slide so they could take a screenshot of the special, so I've done that. I'll move it back to the contact slide in just a minute. Okay, lots of questions. We're going to try and get all of these. All right, you got it. Thanks. Terrific. Okay. Someone asked, does Network Detective produce non-English reports? And the answer is yes. And specifically, we do produce French, Spanish, Italian, German, I believe Portuguese as well. So those are options, and you would need, by the way, if you do purchase and you would like to have those turned on, you'll need to notify us. Those are not enabled by default, but yes, we do produce reports in those other native languages, also A1 or A4 format rather, if you need to do that. Let's see. There was a question here for you, James. I think it had to do. So let me just go. Somebody asked if they could get a copy of the slides. Absolutely, we'll be happy to do that. I put some information into the chat box already, but if you will email sales@rapidfiretools.com, we'll send you a PDF of the slides.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, how do they get a copy of the demo reports? So if you'll visit rapidfiretools.com/reports, that's a single page that has reports from all our modules, or just go to our website and you can, on a module-by-module basis, click into the network module, for instance, you'll see a link on right in the middle, kind of in a ribbon, for reports. That'll bring you to a page where we've got PDFs of the reports. Let me, at the risk of repeating myself, the tool, when you use the tool as a user of Network Detective, you get the DocX reports. But of course we have these as PDFs on the website because nobody in their right mind would download a DocX from the web.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, is TigerPaw Windows client-based or can it be run from a Mac? That's for you, James.
Yeah, so we are built on a Microsoft platform. So you can virtualize the instance and run it in different operating systems if that's what you want. Or if you're specifically a Mac user, we've got some clients that basically created a virtual instance in the cloud of TigerPaw, and actually through RDP can connect off Mac workstations that way.
Fantastic.
And we've got a big install base. We've got over 40,000 users in 30 different countries now, and they're doing it a variety of different ways. So you're covered.
Excellent, excellent. Let's see, somebody asked about our data collectors, and the question is the data collector tool the same for all 4 modules? Another question came in and it moved my question. Okay. Or does each module have its own data collector? That's a great question. So the data collector for the network and security modules is the same data collector. You can do both of those concurrently. The Exchange data collector needs to be run from the Exchange box if it's an on-prem Exchange installation, or of course it can be run from anywhere if you want to gather information from Office 365, because we also support Office 365. The SQL Server data collector is completely different as well. It's its own data collector, and you'll run that from any machine on the network that has access to the SQL Server on the network, and of course you've got to have SA credentials. Let's see. Does TigerPaw offer active network and machine monitoring after you bring a customer on board? I think he's asking if it's like a monitoring product.
No. So we have dozens of integrations with complementary RMM partners. So we have an open API that most anyone can write to us. And we've got all the big ones on the remote monitoring and management. We've got good integrations there. For example, AVG, Continuum, Kaseya, Servoyant, across the board, there's several choices. But our platform's more of the business automation, and then there's complementary tools like QuickBooks for accounting, or rapid-fire tools for network assessments and data gathering, and then RMM tools, for that specific purpose. But all that data flows into TigerPaw in a single pane of glass, and you can manage things through that. Okay.
Got it. Let's see. So there were some very specific questions, and folks, for those, we're going to reach back out to you directly. James, I'll forward anything that's really specific on to you as well.
Sure.
But so are there any other questions? If so, go ahead and please get those typed into the chat box for us. All right. James, do you have any final words you want to say? Or actually, I guess I should do that first, and you can close it out. Hey, so I want to thank everybody. Guys, if you've been looking at Network Detective, we've got that monthly pricing. Also, you can prepay and save even more. This is a terrific offer that we're doing along with the TigerPaw community here. So, if you're thinking about it, take advantage of it. You've got that 30-day window to try it out. If you just don't feel it's right, return it for a full refund. Hey, one last thing, James.
Yeah.
What size company would benefit from TigerPaw? Someone asked that question just now.
Yeah, great question. Really, our target market, anybody that's growing their business is a good fit. Anybody that needs a tool to manage quotes and pipeline, marketing, inventory, strong inventory management. But specific of the number of users, our target really is 5 users up to about 200. Our largest client runs 600 concurrent licenses at a time, so it's a very powerful enterprise-like tool that can help your business grow and scale.
Fantastic.
All right. Yeah, that looks like that's about it for the questions. Any of the questions that we haven't had a chance to answer, Mark and I will collaborate and get back with you all individually. But on behalf of TigerPaw, I wanted to say thank you for your time. We look forward to helping you take your business up to the next level, and have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, James.
All right. Take care, everybody. Bye now.